I wanted to go through all the 2Pac conspiracy questions because we get a lot of them in the comments from people you can tell are new or just brainwashed. So I'll say I don't expect this to get a lot of views, but I just want to do a refresher for people that weren't around when we were addressing a lot of this stuff on live stream. So um, in Las Vegas, before Tupac was shot, talk to me about people saying, "Hey Reggie, why did you disarm all the bodyguards?"
Yeah, I didn't disarm not one bodyguard. Not one bodyguard. I disarmed the people that were assigned to work Club 662 and told them not to carry guns inside of the nightclub. The only bodyguard that was assigned in Vegas that night, one showed up, one didn't. And that was Kevin Hackey, who didn't show up. He stated he got a late arrest and he came out later, but he wasn't there during the, when Tupac got shot and at the fight and all of that, was Kevin Hackey. Frank, he tell y'all in his book, y'all read his book, he said he left his gun in the car because Tupac at the last minute asked him to drive the outlaws in his vehicle, in Kadada Jones' vehicle, because none of them had any license, and he wanted him to drive the car. And he said he didn't want to hold up the entourage, and he knew there were going to be guns at the club, and the club was going to be secured. And so he didn't want to hold up the entourage, and so he never informed anyone that he didn't have his gun on him, in his possession. He didn't say, "I left the gun in the car because Reggie told me to leave the guns. We couldn't have no guns arrive while we was in Las Vegas." He didn't say that. But that's the narrative that you guys on the internet want to put out because y'all got statements that the security at Club 662 were told not to have guns inside there. If I ran a nightclub and somebody came and gave me, if Jay-Z, I don't know if he still got those 50-50 clubs or whatever he used to call them, came and said, "Hey, Red, I want you to be in charge of all the security at the clubs." I'd be like, okay. The only person inside that club that I would want to have with a gun is the person that's watching the money, the transport team with the money. I wouldn't want the guy standing at the entries at the bathroom or the door or this door or that door or patting people down with no gun on. Because inside of a club, there's generally 20 security and 1,000 people. And that gun drops or fall or you pull it out, generally you're going to shoot somebody that's running, somebody, an innocent bystander. Y'all go to the club. Next time y'all go to a nightclub, check and see that big guy standing at the door or in the area. Guarantee you, he don't have a gun on him. His company do not want him having a gun on him. So that's the question to the nonsense about the no gun situation. To all you new people. This is not the first time most of y'all have heard it, because I have been repeating this. But as John stated earlier, we got a lot of new people, and we got a lot of idiots that like to keep regurgitating the same stuff. Last time I'm going to speak on it. So y'all have this. Remember this video.
I would think too that it would be very hard to have a bodyguard in a club with a gun because of the light situation too, because it's usually like a strobe light or it's really dark in there to where you can't. If somebody were wanting to shoot somebody, you wouldn't be able to aim properly. I wouldn't think.
Well, yeah, but I'm still one to believe bodyguards should have a gun. The bodyguards. I just don't believe people working security inside of the club should. I believe guys in the parking lot should have guns. The security that you have in the parking lot, but not inside a nightclub where everybody are bunched together and close by. And more importantly, because say if 5 of my homeboys get into a scuffle with a security guard, they're taught, you're trained as a gangster. If you're fighting guys, somebody better be snatching, going through pockets, while the other 3 or 4 are whooping on that nigga. And so y'all don't think that same mentality go to whooping on a security guard? The whoop on his ass and one of y'all trying to get the gun from him? No, it's a little bit too deep for y'all, but that's how people have to think when you run security companies.
And James worked the crowd at or the line at 662. I'm not going to have you incriminate anybody, but would it be a logical bet that he may have had a firearm at one time or another when he worked the crowd?
James was a different situation because I know I probably would have not let my security guard pat him down and stuff going in and out. So he probably had one on him. He might have. I wouldn't have wanted him to, I'm going to be honest, because of the situations I just laid out. But my security hated James. All of them. They hated how I allowed. And see, I'm one of those that had to do that thin line. That's why I do straddle the line. That's why I allow y'all to say a few things to me. Where I got to be cool with the homies, and I got to be cool with my security guys. That was the position I was put in. Because I also traveled with these dudes on the road. Well, my security wasn't traveling with these guys on the road. I was around these dudes at houses and places where just 4 or 5 of us was at. But my security didn't have that type of relationship with the homeboys. That's why I always laugh when they say, oh, so-and-so said this person used to be around, or this person. Big C Style, Joe Cool, Lip Dog, and all of them wouldn't know one of my security guards' name if you asked them right now if they wouldn't been in the media. Couldn't identify anyone other than because they don't know them. They didn't have no relationships with them. They didn't know them like that. So they just think if you mention cop and they're around, oh, those Reggie friends, those Reggie boys. Because everybody knows Reggie was the one that hired and had the cops. They all knew who Reggie was, but they didn't know those guys. Now they got a little familiar with some that worked a lot, like Kevin Hackey, because he was working because he had some time off, and so he worked a lot. And then, or Frank. But the Al Giddens or the Cooper Hagens or Cedric or who else? Even Leslie punk ass. People like that, you go show them pictures of them, they couldn't tell you who the hell they were. Larry, they couldn't tell you who they were because they didn't know these people. They knew Marcus and Kenneth because they were always with Snoop, and they knew Frank because he was generally a lot with Pop and Kevin. Those are the 4 that they knew. Anybody else, if you just say they was a cop, then, oh yeah, those were Reggie boys. Even Suge. Suge didn't know those niggas for the most part. He knew them when he saw them. But by name, he saw them on the streets right now. He wouldn't know who they were. Maybe Quez, Big Marquez now, because Marquez and Bill started driving them around at the end. But prior to that, they didn't know them.